If you've been a coaster enthusiast for any time at all, you've probably noticed recently that Seaworld Entertainment has gone somewhat crazy, with them adding extremely large additions to all their major parks. In 2020 alone, every single Seaworld and Busch Gardens park is getting a coaster, and not a small coaster, a large-scale addition. Seaworld Entertainment is turning their company into a coaster paradise. It almost seems unreal. All these coasters at once must cost a lot, right? And to make things weirder, there are already rumors for 2021, and it looks like the same thing could possibly be happening again. Yes, you heard me right. We could possibly have another year of gigantic additions at every major park. What exactly is SeaWorld thinking? Why would a company think to do this? Will it ever stop? And what would happen if every single park got a new coaster every year, like forever? In today's video, I'm going to try to answer all those questions and more. Stay tuned as we discuss the weird things happening with the Seaworld Entertainment Corporation. I think I've pieced together what is happening. In order to try to piece this together though, we need to look at the past. All the way back to 2013. 2013 was the start of a financial nightmare for the corporation, all because of one film, Blackfish. If you don't know, Blackfish is a documentary about how SeaWorld mistreats its orcas. This, along with growing hostility from animal rights groups, had a huge impact on the next couple of years and effectively ruined the entire money-making strategy of SeaWorld. This film led to a trickle-down ripple effect that really hurt the company, even after the film was already out for a couple of years. In 2017, the SeaWorld stock fell as low as $10.80, about 3 times less than what it's worth today, and before it started falling, it was even higher than that. SeaWorld's orcas were suddenly getting more media attention than ever before, and as a result, people didn't want to go to a park that they thought mistreats animals. The effects of this film, along with other things, are still noticeable today. When the stock hit the lowest point of $10.80, SeaWorld lost about $1.3 billion. They had to figure out what they could do to pick themselves back up again. What they did was decide to focus less on the animals and more on the rides, something that would bring more people into the park and wouldn't be at all controversial. This was the start of the new SeaWorld, the SeaWorld that would be shaped to be the coaster crazy chain of 2020. Let's first look at what the chain's adding for 2020. A whopping 5 coasters. Emperor, a huge dive coaster, Texas Stingray, an amazing GCI, Icebreaker, a family launch coaster, Pantheon, an amazing intimate multi-launch coaster with a vertical spike and high-speed switch track, and on top of that, they're adding possibly the world's best coaster, Iron Gwazi. If I had to guess, I'd say all those additions, when everything's said and done, probably add up to $75 million, which is an insane amount of money, especially compared to Cedar Fair and Six Flags editions, which are probably only a third of that. Other chains usually add 1 major coaster or 2 a year, but SeaWorld has gone crazy, and it looks like the same thing could possibly be happening again. A new coaster or large-scale addition coming to every park in 2021. I'm going to run down what the rumored additions are for each park and why I think they're doing this. Let's start with my home park, Busch Gardens Williamsburg. They're rumored to get probably the strangest coaster of the year. It's a weird looking Intamin Giga shuttle coaster looking thing. I don't really know how I feel about it, but nevertheless, it looks awesome. This coaster is pretty much guaranteed because the plans have been leaked, but you never know. The other 2 parks that are highly rumored to get a coaster are SeaWorld Orlando and SeaWorld San Diego. The rumored coaster for Orlando is a P&M Wing coaster, and according to BehindTheThrills.com, the one for SeaWorld San Diego is some sort of launched motorbike coaster, maybe themed to jet skis. So that's already 3 out of the 5 major parks. The other 2, Busch Gardens Tampa and SeaWorld San Antonio, are definitely planning something. Busch Gardens Tampa is clearing land and has filed plans for quote-unquote Project Jethro. The area which this new attraction would go is relatively small, and in my opinion, it's most likely an S&S Scream and Swing. Even though it's unfortunately not a coaster, we shouldn't be disappointed, because this is coming directly after 2 back-to-back coasters, Tigress and Iron Gwazi. The other park, SeaWorld San Antonio, according to Ace, released a teaser with a pufferfish on it, with the text, "Something big is coming." I literally have no idea what this could be, but I'm thinking it could be some sort of dark ride. but it's very possible that it could be a coaster, like a launch coaster with inversions or something like that. So in total for 2021, out of the 5 parks, 3 are heavily rumored to be getting a coaster. One is rumored to be getting a flat ride, and the other is up for grabs. It could be a coaster or a flat ride. So to recap, Seaworld Entertainment is shying away from its animals and putting emphasis on thrill rides. But that still leaves one question. Why are they doing it at this scale? Why are they moving so fast and adding rides? If all these rumors came true for 2021, in 3 years SeaWorld would have added over 10 coasters and a bunch of flat rides and water slides. This is almost unheard of in the coaster community. This seems like what Six Flags was doing before they went bankrupt. I think SeaWorld is trying to compete with a new market. Now they're competing with the market of thrill rides. They're fighting against Cedar Fair and Six Flags, and they're doing very well. They're turning into a company of amusement parks, and less of a company of theme parks. I think SeaWorld Entertainment is taking a small risk because all these additions at once must cost a lot. But I think the risk is calculated. At this point in time, SeaWorld is profitable and can afford all these additions. While researching this video, I had a crazy thought. I thought to myself, what would happen if every single SeaWorld and Busch Gardens park got a new coaster every year, like forever? What would happen to their competition? If this hypothetical, highly unlikely situation ever did happen, and it was successful for a couple of years, it would almost certainly put pressure on the other chains to rival them. Busch Gardens would be the new Cedar Point, which I'm sure Cedar Point would not like. As a result, we'd have a multi-chain coaster war, which I'm sure every enthusiast would love. Even though this hypothetical situation would probably never happen, it's still cool to think about it. So does SeaWorld have a method to their madness? Of course they do. They wouldn't be spending money like this if they didn't. I think that these years of mega additions are a test run to see if their new business model of extreme coasters works. And for our sake as coaster enthusiasts, let's hope it does so we can see more in the future. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see content just like this in the future. And don't forget to leave your suggestions for video ideas in the comments below.